The crisp morning air was electric with the high-stakes tension of the day. As Ron Weasley, the formidable CEO of Weasley Industries, confidently made his way into the cavernous conference room, a hush fell over the assembled crowd. His mere presence commanded immediate silence. His tall, imposing figure and penetrating eyes were enough to elicit a potent blend of admiration and apprehension among the gathered potential clients and business partners. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. With a commanding swagger, Ron approached the head of the expansive, gleaming mahogany table. Taking his seat, he surveyed the room with a deliberate, detached gaze. Each chair was occupied by representatives from various esteemed firms, all desperately eager to forge a profitable alliance with one of the city's most powerful trading enterprises. The intensity of their hopeful stares was palpable, each one silently acknowledging the immense power Ron held over their professional destinies. This recognition swelled his ego, allowing him to bask in the intoxicating control he exerted over the room. His heart swelled with a sense of dominance, reveling in the authority and influence he so effortlessly wielded. As Ron's icy blue eyes meticulously scanned the room, they abruptly halted on a figure that seemed utterly out of place. A few seats down, a young black woman sat with unwavering poise, her notebook open, poised for action. She was impeccably dressed, her attire flawless, exuding a calm yet resolute professionalism. However, Ron's brow furrowed in clear disapproval, not due to her gender or youth, but solely because she was the only black individual in the room. Who allowed her in here? Ron's thoughts darkened with a surge of irritation. He couldn't recall ever seeing her before, and her presence in such a high-stakes meeting seemed, to him, a grave error or an oversight. This unexpected encounter gnawed at him, disrupting his otherwise unyielding composure, as he struggled to reconcile her existence in a space he perceived as exclusively reserved for a different echelon. The unsettling realization stirred a storm of emotions within him, amplifying his discomfort and casting a shadow over his otherwise commanding demeanor. As the meeting kicked off, Ron immediately seized the reins, his voice booming through the vast chamber with an aura of inflated self-importance. His every word exuded arrogance, each phrase meticulously crafted to belittle those around him and underscore his supposed supremacy. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began with a patronizing tone, "let's not squander our precious moments. I am confident you all grasp the exceptional advantages my company delivers. We are not merely frontrunners, we are the groundbreaking pioneers of the trading industry," Ron proclaimed, his voice a polished blend of smugness and outright contempt. The attendees sat in uneasy silence, some nodding in forced agreement, while others exchanged nervous, apprehensive glances. The tension in the room was palpable, a heavy blanket of reluctant admiration mixed with discomfort. Ron's overwhelming self-assurance filled every nook and cranny, leaving no room for opposition. His presence was stifling, casting a long shadow that dominated the room as his grandiose declarations hung in the air like a suffocating fog, leaving everyone struggling to breathe in the atmosphere thick with his overbearing confidence. Anna Gellert, the young analyst, sat quietly, her face a mask of neutrality. She had faced arrogance before, but never so brazenly displayed as it was now. Ron's attitude was not merely self-confident, it was so condescending that it bordered on offensive. As the meeting wore on, Ron dismissed questions with a dismissive flick of his wrist, offering vague answers that seemed more aimed at showcasing his own perceived brilliance than at actually providing clarity. Anna's discomfort grew with each superficial response, morphing into a simmering irritation. As Ron continued, Anna's mind raced, parsing through his statements in search of genuine substance, only to uncover layers of empty arrogance. Despite her increasing frustration, she reminded herself of the significance of the meeting. Her company desperately needed this deal, and she was their chosen representative. Mustering her courage, she cleared her throat, preparing to confront Ron on the critical issues at hand. "Mister, Wesley, if I may, Anna began, her voice unwavering despite the nerves fluttering inside her. Your current trading model has indeed yielded impressive results historically. However, considering the rapidly evolving market conditions, how sustainable do you believe it will be in the coming years? The room fell silent, all eyes turning to Ron, waiting to see how he would respond to Anna's pointed question. Her calm yet assertive demeanor contrasted sharply with Ron's haughty bluster, and for a moment, the dynamic in the room shifted. Anna's challenge was clear, her question piercing through the fog of Ron's arrogance, demanding a response rooted in genuine insight rather than superficial bravado. The room fell into a heavy silence. All eyes turned towards Anna, astonished by her boldness in directly challenging Ron Wesley. Ron's face twisted with a mixture of disbelief and irritation. His eyes, once icy, now blazed with a more sinister intensity. "And you are?" he asked, his voice laced with a disdainful sneer, making no attempt to mask his annoyance. "Anna Gellert," an analyst with Anna began, but Ron interrupted her with a derisive chuckle. "An analyst," he repeated, the word dripping with contempt. "Tell me, Ms. Gellert, from which black community college did you graduate that makes you think you can question the sustainability of a model that has not only been proven but has excelled for years?" His words were loaded with underlying racism, the venomous insinuation hanging heavily in the air. The room remained tense, the charged silence amplifying the weight of Ron's bigotry. Anna felt a surge of indignation and resolve. She knew she had to stand her ground, not just for herself, but for every person who had ever been belittled and marginalized. Gathering her composure, she met Ron's scornful gaze head-on, ready to respond with the grace and strength that had brought her to this moment. Anna felt a rush of heat rise to her cheeks, her heart pounding loudly in her chest. Though momentarily stunned, she quickly regained her composure. "I graduated from the University of Chicago, Mr. Wesley," Anna replied, her voice steady as she attempted to steer the conversation back to professionalism. Ron scoffed, shaking his head as he scanned the room, seeking an audience for his spectacle. "University of Chicago? Well, folks, it appears even the best schools are lowering their standards." Nervous laughter rippled through the room, light yet piercing, deepening the flush on Anna's face. She pressed her lips together, striving to remain calm in the face of such blatant disrespect and racism. As the meeting dragged on, Ron's barbs grew increasingly pointed and personal. When Anna attempted to redirect the discussion to the financial specifics, Ron cut her off sharply. "Ms. Gellert, please, let's not embarrass yourself further. Your input here is as unnecessary as it is uninformed." He snapped, his voice dripping with condescension. Anna took a deep breath, her hands clenched tightly under the table. She scanned the room, desperately seeking an ally, but found none. The attendees appeared either amused or indifferent, unwilling to challenge the domineering Ron Wesley. Despite the isolation and mounting frustration, Anna resolved to maintain her professionalism, knowing that her integrity was her strongest defense against his relentless attacks. Feeling isolated but not defeated, Anna made one final attempt to contribute to the discussion, but Ron's barrage was unrelenting. "Really, Ms. Gellert, take a look around. Do you see anyone else here who looks like you? No? Then perhaps it's best if you refrain from speaking out of turn." Ron's words were a verbal assault, designed to shame her into silence. That was the breaking point for Anna. She stood up, the sound of her chair scraping against the floor echoing through the room. Every eye turned to her, some wide with shock, others obscured by hands or whispering in disbelief. "Thank you for your time, Mr. Wesley and everyone," Anna began, her voice loud and clear, every syllable resonating with a blend of righteous fury and unyielding dignity. "It's evident that this isn't the right partnership for our company." With that, she gathered her materials, her hands trembling with adrenaline and anger, and walked out of the room, her head held high. As she exited, the weight of the oppressive atmosphere lifted slightly, leaving behind a trail of murmurs and astonished looks. Anna's heart raced, but her resolve was firm. She knew that she had stood up not just for herself, but for every person who had ever been marginalized or belittled. Her steps were steady and purposeful, each one a testament to her courage and determination. In that moment, Anna knew that she had reclaimed her power, and no amount of arrogance or prejudice could take that away from her. She could feel Ron's eyes burning into her back, his disdain palpable, but she didn't look back. She didn't need to see his smirk to know it was there. As the door closed behind her, the room remained silent, the echo of her departure hanging heavy in the air. Ron leaned back in his chair, self-satisfied, oblivious to the real consequences of his actions that were about to unfold. In the quiet aftermath of the meeting, Ron Wesley remained blissfully unaware that a junior analyst from another firm had recorded his entire tirade against Anna Gellert on video. Initially shared in a private group chat as a cautionary example of how not to conduct a meeting, the video quickly leaked and spiraled into viral infamy across social media platforms. It showcased Ron's derogatory comments and condescending attitude, painting a stark picture of corporate racism and sexism at its ugliest. By the next morning, the video was ubiquitous, sparking a storm of public outrage. Comments flooded in by the thousands, condemning Ron's behavior and calling for immediate repercussions. Boycott Wesley Industries. Many demanded, their voices uniting in a powerful chorus of shared disdain and indignation. The company's social media pages were inundated with furious messages. Hashtags condemning Ron's actions trended worldwide, and news outlets picked up the story, further amplifying the backlash. As the scandal unfolded, the true impact of Ron's arrogance and bigotry became painfully clear. His smug satisfaction from the previous day was shattered as he and his company faced the harsh reality of public accountability. The echo of Anna's departure was no longer just a silent memory, but a rallying cry for justice and change in the corporate world. At Wesley Industries, the morning was nothing short of chaotic. Ron stepped into his office to find his inbox overflowing with emails and his phone vibrating incessantly. His assistant, visibly stressed, handed him a printout of trending topics on social media. His name was glaringly at the top. "Sir, this is serious. We need to address this immediately," she urged, her voice tense with urgency. Ron skimmed the headlines, his face blanching. "It's just a misunderstanding. It will blow over," he muttered, more to himself than to her. But even as he spoke, he knew the gravity of the situation. Before he could formulate a plan, his phone rang. The screen displayed Mac Gellert. His heart sank. Mac was not only a respected titan of the industry, but also the father of Anna, the very woman he had scorned. Mac's voice boomed the moment he answered, filled with fury and contempt. "I just saw the video. How dare you treat anyone like that, let alone my daughter?" Ron's voice faltered as he attempted to explain. "Mac, listen, it's not what it looks like. We were just..." "Save it, Ron. I've heard enough from that video to know exactly what it looks like." Mac cut him off sharply. "You publicly humiliated my daughter. You're a disgrace to the industry." Ron felt a cold sweat break out on his forehead. He stammered, trying to find the right words to diffuse the situation, but Mac's rage was implacable. "You think this will just blow over? You've crossed a line, Ron, and there are consequences. Wesley Industries will feel the full weight of this." The line went dead, leaving Ron in a state of panic. The reality of his actions was crashing down on him like a tidal wave. The incident had not only sparked public outrage, but it also jeopardized key industry relationships. He knew that his career, and possibly the future of Wesley Industries, was hanging by a thread. The gravity of his arrogance and disrespect had never been clearer, and now there was no easy way out. "Mac, please, let's talk about this. We can sort it out," Ron pleaded, desperation creeping into his voice. "There's nothing to sort out. I'm pulling all my investments from your company. And you can forget about our partnership. "It's over," Mac declared unequivocally. The call ended abruptly, leaving Ron in stunned silence. His worst fears were materializing. Losing Mac Gellert's support was not just a financial blow, it was a reputational disaster. As the day progressed, more partners and clients distanced themselves from Wisley Industries. Calls were made, contracts were dissolved, and by the end of the week, Ron's once thriving enterprise was on the brink of collapse. Employees were nervous, whispering about job security and updating resumes, while senior managers held crisis meetings to discuss dwindling options. Amid the turmoil, Ron tried to reach out to Anna to apologize, hoping to somehow mitigate the damage. He dialed her number, each ring echoing like a countdown. "Anna, this is Ron Wisley. I saw your apology attempts online," Anna interrupted coldly. "They seemed as hollow as your respect in that meeting. Why are you really calling?" Ron sighed, the weight of his situation pressing down on him. "I'm truly sorry, Anna. I didn't realize the impact of my words. I've lost almost everything. I need you to understand that I regret what I said." Anna's response was measured and firm. "Your regret seems to coincide quite conveniently with your losses, Ron. It's not my forgiveness you need, it's a change in how you view and treat people. That's your path to repair, not my absolution." With that, Anna ended the call, leaving Ron with the piercing reality of her words. As he sat alone in his office, the full weight of his actions bore down on him. The magnitude of his arrogance and insensitivity had not only alienated key partners, but had also dismantled the trust and respect he once commanded. The phone call with Anna was a harsh but necessary wake-up call. He realized that his road to redemption would be long and arduous, requiring genuine introspection and a profound change in how he interacted with others. In the days that followed, Ron began to make amends, not through hollow apologies, but through actions that demonstrated a sincere commitment to change. He attended workshops on empathy and leadership, sought advice from mentors known for their integrity, and started rebuilding his relationships from the ground up. It was a humbling journey, but Ron knew it was the only way to truly atone for his past mistakes. His transformation was slow and often painful, but each step brought him closer to becoming a leader who could inspire and respect others, rather than dominate and belittle them. As he sat in his darkening office, Ron couldn't help but replay the meeting over and over in his mind. Each word he had spoken, once wielded with such arrogance, now returned to haunt him as his empire crumbled around him. The viral video had not just captured his downfall, it had accelerated it, serving as a catalyst for a reckoning he had never anticipated. As the dust settled on the ruins of Wisley Industries, Ron Wisley found himself standing alone amidst the wreckage of his former empire. The once bustling headquarters were now eerily silent, the hallways echoing only the footsteps of a few remaining employees packing up their lives and careers. Ron had watched as his life's work disintegrated under the weight of his own hubris. The loss was not merely financial, it was deeply personal and profoundly humbling. In the solitude of his now empty office, Ron reflected on the catastrophic events that had unfolded. The viral video had not only shattered his professional life, but it also forced him to confront the ugly truths about himself. His initial anger and denial had slowly given way to a profound sense of remorse. Sitting in the dim light, he realized the extent of the damage he had caused. His once confident demeanor had been replaced by a man who had lost everything due to his own behavior. The silence around him was a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once filled the halls of Wisley Industries. He remembered the faces of his employees, their hopes and dreams intertwined with the success of the company he had built, now all shattered because of his actions. Ron understood that if he ever hoped to recover, he would need to fundamentally change, not just to salvage his career, but to become a better human being. He knew that mere words of apology would never suffice. It would take a lifetime of actions to rebuild the trust and respect he had so carelessly destroyed. Determined to start anew, Ron began his journey of redemption. He reached out to those he had wronged, offering sincere apologies and asking for their forgiveness. He committed himself to learning and growing, attending seminars on leadership, empathy, and humility. He volunteered his time to causes that promoted equality and justice, hoping to give back to the communities he had once overlooked. As months turned into years, Ron's transformation became evident. He was no longer the arrogant, self-assured man who had once led Wesley Industries. Instead, he became a humble, compassionate individual who understood the value of every person he encountered. His journey was far from easy, but with each step, he moved closer to becoming the leader he had always aspired to be, a leader who led with kindness, respect, and genuine concern for others. In the end, Ron Wesley learned that true success was not measured by the wealth he accumulated or the power he wielded, but by the positive impact he had on the lives of others. His empire might have crumbled, but from its ruins, he built a legacy of integrity and humanity that would endure long after he was gone. Ron began attending workshops on diversity, equity, and inclusion. He read extensively about racial biases and the importance of empathy in leadership. Each seminar was a blow to his old ego, each book a mirror held up to his failings. It was a painful process, but with pain came growth. He started volunteering at nonprofits that focused on racial justice, trying to make amends by contributing positively to communities he had once looked down upon. One rainy Thursday afternoon, as Ron was helping to organize a fundraiser for a local charity, he received a call from Anna Gellert. He hesitated before answering, memories of their last conversation flooding back, filled with her cold dismissal and his desperate apologies. Steeling himself, he picked up the phone, unsure of what to expect. "Hello, Anna," Ron said, his voice tentative. Anna replied, her tone unreadable. There was a pause, filled only with the sound of rain tapping against the windows. "I've heard about the work you've been doing." Ron's heart pounded. "I'm trying to make things right," he said softly. "I know I've hurt a lot of people, including you. I'm truly sorry." Anna sighed, the sound heavy with contemplation. "I appreciate your efforts, Ron. But this isn't about saying the right words or making a few changes. It's about fundamentally understanding and changing your perspective. It's about seeing people for who they are and respecting them." "I understand that now," Ron responded earnestly. "I'm committed to this change, not just for show, but because it's the right thing to do. I want to be better, to do better." There was another pause, this one longer, as Anna seemed to weigh his words. "Actions speak louder than words, Ron. I hope you truly mean what you say, and I hope your actions continue to reflect your commitment. For now, I wish you well in your journey." "Thank you, Anna," Ron said, relief and gratitude evident in his voice. "I won't let you down." After the call ended, Ron stood in the quiet room, the rain still pattering against the windows. He felt a sense of resolve, knowing that while the road ahead would be long and challenging, he was on the right path. Each step he took towards understanding and inclusivity was a step towards redemption, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a glimmer of hope. "Anna," he greeted cautiously. Anna's voice was calm, composed. "I've been following your efforts. It seems you're genuinely trying to change." Ron's heart quickened. "Yes, I am. I've learned a lot, Anna. I am truly sorry for everything." "I know," she replied, "and I appreciate your apologies. But more so, I respect the actions you've taken since. It's not just about saying sorry, it's about making changes." Encouraged by her acknowledgement, Ron felt a glimmer of hope. "Thank you, Anna. That means a lot coming from you." There was a brief pause before Anna continued. "I'm calling because I have a proposal for you. My company is launching a new division aimed at fostering inclusivity in the business sector. We need someone who understands both the highs and lows of this industry." someone who has first-hand experience with the kind of transformation we want to promote. Ron was stunned. "Are you offering me a job?" "Yes, I am," Anna confirmed. "But it won't be easy. You'll start from the ground up, no executive privileges. You'll need to prove yourself, not just to me or the company, but to yourself and everyone you'll work with." Accepting the offer would mean embracing humility and hard work, far removed from the executive lifestyle he was accustomed to. Yet, Ron felt a surge of gratitude and determination. "I'll take it, and I'll give it my all, Anna. Thank you for this chance." "You'll be accountable every step of the way," Anna warned. "This is about more than redemption, it's about transformation." Ron agreed wholeheartedly. "I understand, and I'm ready." The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Ron started his new position under the watchful eyes of skeptical colleagues who knew his past. Every day presented a new challenge, every task a lesson in humility. He attended every meeting with the eagerness of a novice, absorbing every piece of advice and criticism with gratitude. His efforts to transform were met with cautious optimism, and gradually, with acceptance. He worked diligently on projects that required meticulous attention to detail, often staying late to ensure everything was perfect. He volunteered for tasks that others shunned, demonstrating a willingness to learn and grow. His genuine efforts began to chip away at the skepticism, earning him respect one small achievement at a time. One evening, as Ron stayed behind to finish a particularly challenging project, he received an email from Anna. It was short but meaningful. "Keep up the good work." "People are noticing." The message was a beacon of encouragement, reinforcing his commitment to his new path. Ron continued to push forward, embracing every obstacle as an opportunity for growth. He realized that his journey was not just about proving himself to others, but about fundamentally transforming into a person he could respect. The process was arduous, but with each passing day he felt more grounded, more aligned with the values he now held dear. In time, Ron's consistent hard work and dedication paid off. His colleagues, initially wary, began to see him as a valuable team member. He was no longer the arrogant executive who had once belittled others. He was now a humble worker, dedicated to making a positive impact. The division thrived under his and Anna's leadership, becoming a model for inclusivity and transformation in the business sector. Ron knew he had come a long way, but he also understood that the journey of self-improvement and empathy was never truly complete. He remained committed to the principles he had learned, determined to continue growing and helping others along the way. As Ron rebuilt his career from the ground up, he found that with each passing day, his old arrogance was replaced by a newfound respect for diversity and a deep appreciation for second chances. Anna observed his progress, offering guidance but also allowing him the space to grow independently. Months later, at the annual company retreat, Anna pulled Ron aside. "I wasn't sure about this at first, Ron. I took a risk on you," she admitted, her eyes searching his. Ron nodded, his voice steady. "I know, and I can't thank you enough for that, Anna. You've helped me become not just a better leader, but a better person." Anna smiled, a genuine warmth in her eyes. "Just keep doing the work, Ron. Keep proving that people can change." The retreat was a culmination of the hard work and dedication Ron had put in over the months. It was a time for reflection and celebration of the progress the team had made. As they walked back to join the others, Ron felt a profound sense of gratitude. He knew that his journey was far from over, but he was on the right path. Throughout the evening, Ron mingled with his colleagues, many of whom had been skeptical of him at the start. Now, their interactions were marked by mutual respect and camaraderie. He shared stories, laughed with them, and genuinely enjoyed their company. It was a stark contrast to the isolation he had once felt. Later that night, as the retreat wound down, Ron found himself sitting by the campfire, reflecting on his journey. The stars above were a reminder of the vast possibilities that lay ahead. He understood that true leadership was not about power or control, but about empathy, respect, and the willingness to learn from one's mistakes. Anna joined him by the fire, handing him a cup of coffee. "You've come a long way, Ron," she said softly. Ron took a sip, savoring the warmth. "I couldn't have done it without your support, Anna. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." Anna shook her head. "You had it in you all along. Sometimes we just need a little push to see it." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the flames dance. The journey of transformation Ron had embarked on was not just about redeeming his professional life, but about becoming a person who could inspire and uplift others. He knew there would be challenges ahead, but with the lessons he had learned and the support of those around him, he felt ready to face them. As the fire crackled and the night grew deeper, Ron felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in a long time. He had found a new purpose, one rooted in kindness and understanding. And with that purpose, he knew he could build something even greater than before, not just a successful career, but a legacy of compassion and integrity. Standing there, amid colleagues who now respected him for his commitment and humility, Ron felt a profound sense of redemption and purpose. He realized that this wasn't just a new chapter in his career, it was a new chapter in his life, one where he could contribute positively and authentically to the world around him. The journey had been arduous, but as he looked forward to the path ahead, he knew every step was worth it. Surrounded by the warm glow of camaraderie and mutual respect, Ron reflected on how far he had come. The old Ron, driven by arrogance and a misguided sense of superiority, seemed like a distant memory. In his place stood a man who had learned the true value of empathy, humility, and the importance of second chances. The night air was crisp, carrying with it the sounds of laughter and conversation. Ron felt a deep gratitude for the people who had given him the opportunity to change, and for Anna, whose faith in him had been unwavering. Her support had been a beacon, guiding him through the darkest moments of his transformation. As the evening continued, Ron engaged in heartfelt conversations with his colleagues, sharing his experiences and listening to theirs. He realized that leadership was not about commanding respect, but earning it through genuine connections and understanding. He saw how his journey had inspired others, creating a ripple effect of positive change within the company. Later, as the retreat wound down and people began to retire for the night, Ron took a moment to himself. Standing under the vast expanse of the starry sky, he felt a sense of fulfillment that he had never known before. The challenges he had faced and the lessons he had learned had shaped him into a better person, capable of leading with integrity and compassion. Ron knew that the road ahead would still have its obstacles, but he was ready to face them with the newfound strength and wisdom he had gained. His transformation was ongoing, a continuous journey of growth and self-improvement. With a heart full of hope and determination, he embraced the future, confident in his ability to make a meaningful impact. As he walked back to his cabin, the words of Anna resonated in his mind. "Just keep doing the work, Ron. Keep proving that people can change." He was committed to this path, not just for himself, but for everyone he could influence along the way. The sense of purpose and redemption he felt was not just a personal victory, but a testament to the power of transformation and the enduring human spirit. Thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. We've covered a lot of ground today, and now we want to hear from you. What have you learned so far? Please share one thing you've learned, and we'll bring into practice in your life below this video. Your experiences and insights are valuable to our community. If you liked this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insightful content. Your support helps us continue to create and share these meaningful stories. Thank you.